Let's try to get the focus to... There we go. All right, that's much better. How is everybody doing? I bet everybody is a very loose term at the moment because this isn't my normal time. Our our plumbing is having issues in the house, which is fun when you have hundreds of fish. So we have a plumber coming at 5 o'clock, so I couldn't do the normal 4 o'clock stream. And then also I noticed that Rico Stan was doing a live stream at his normal time, which happens to be 3:30, which overlaps, our streams overlap. So I'm just giving this a shot. I wanted to see knock knock who's out there at this hour. And you know what? I have a couple announcements. First of being that the AQUASCAPE competition for 2001, you should enter today. Today is the last day to enter the first stage, which means you've had to complete exactly nothing. So you just need to say you want to be in and kind of what your hopes and dreams and goals and wishes are in this competition. So that's all there really is to it. And the link is in the description below. It should be the first link available there. And that's that. So how is everybody doing? I know we'll have some people trickling in a little slower than normal probably because I'm not supposed to be on right now, and YouTube really loves that. So let's see here. Your average fish keeper, what's going on, buddy? Muppet, hey, good to see you. Maple Street Aquatics, good to see you. Was it a video from Maple Street Aquatics or an Instagram post? Anyways, there was something, and I was going to say I liked it, and I think I told you in that content, but something, and it's totally just flew out of my head. I don't remember. But good job for whatever that was that I was going to say I liked. Let's see here. Rachel, what's up? Lance, hello. Gene, Thomas, K-Day, what's up? Rowboat, hello, welcome. I don't recognize that screen name, but welcome, 357 Rowboat. You're not 357 Magnum guy, are you? And then Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics, what's up? Here, Fishy, yo, yo. Guess what, guys? I'm switching things up today. You know my normal drink of choice. Well, actually, I haven't switched it up that much. There's still whatever was left from last night, from me being, I was up all night again working on, I got stuck on one of those little rabbit holes, and my sleep schedule is already very odd, but I got stuck on a research rabbit hole looking into, yet again, Neolithic fish keeping, which probably interests almost no one. So I don't know why I'm so fascinated by it, but meaning like early fish keeping, like prehistory fish keeping, like Stonehenge fish keeping and earlier, before written or even like hieroglyphic or pictorial records were kept, that kind of thing. And studying Native American practices with salmon, for instance. And also, this last weekend, I went to a small lake that was stocked. It was stocked with triploid rainbow trout, which are these massive, big trout that have 3 chromosomes. We've talked about this a lot in the last few months. But they have 3 chromosomes, and they get really large with hybrid. They have the hybrid rigor or vigor, as sometimes it's stated, which is basically when you cross 2 species, oftentimes their offspring is bigger than the parents would be on their own, or you would expect anyways. And that is... some of that stuff is at play chromosomally, genetically, and when you make a triploid fish, you can get trout. I posted in the community page a 23-pound rainbow trout. I mean, it looks like a salmon. It's more of a salmon. I mean, trout, salmon, steelhead, brook trout all the way up to like, I don't know, Atlantic salmon, I guess would be the far ends of the spectrum or something. But in between, there's a lot of give and take in like where does trout end and salmon begin. Kokanee are one that is a landlocked salmon that usually gets called a trout. But I don't know. So in any case, that got me thinking about, okay, well, which salmon, which trout made it to which lakes locally. And then I started talking to the owner of the property there the other day, and he stocked it with two types of trout and bass. And even though there's no drainage in that lake, it's a small, I mean, the lake is, I don't know, it's a number of acres, but not like dozens of acres or anything. It's probably a few football fields in surface area. And it is in a valley out near Mount Rainier, out past Puyallup, near the town of Eatonville. And yeah, it's just kind of a farm, almost like where you'd water cattle, like that kind of a pond or a lake. And he has it stocked, but it's got lots of dense natural plants, whatever's volunteered in it, because it's man-made, or at least it was a depression with a little swampy area, and that would flood in half the year, and so they just turned it into a full-on lake like 40 years ago. But long story short, that was way too long-winded. But now more people are in here, I suppose. Is that same area? He's caught perch. He's caught crappie. He's caught sunfish and pumpkin seed fish, and he's also caught stickleback, all in that lake. And he never planted it, and it's definitely on his property. You have to go through gates and a fence and stuff. It's like you would have to be on his ranch or farm to get there. So what really kind of surprised me, I asked him, well, like, how did those fish get here? And for him, his answer was like immediate, and he was like, the damn birds. But the eggs, stick in the shallows where the ducks and geese are waddling around and paddling and ducking down to feed, and the sticky eggs stick to them, and then they come land there, and it only takes a few eggs to hatch, and with no predation in the pond, even though there's trout, so that's actually a very big predator. Just takes a couple surviving to breed, and then there you go, off to the races. But I have an episode about how fish get in alpine lakes. But yeah, so it got me on this tangent, though, of like, so which lakes did the natives actually use around here? Was it only the big ones, or did the little ones have uses too? And then I found out that they actually would string up lines in between the islands out in the San Juan Islands. They actually wove over a kilometer long. I mean, we're talking like 3,000 to 4,000 feet long nets made out of cedar bark and sinew and other materials, but woven these ginormous nets that must have taken, I mean, like years of man hours when all's said and done. More likely woman hours, honestly, getting made in camp. And then the men would go out in canoes, and in some cases there's actually oral traditions, as well as in other places than my specific area, reports that the orcas would then help funnel in salmon, seals, whales, other fish, and other dolphins and whales into the bays and into these narrow points between islands. And so there's also these pictographs when you go up to the San Juans, if you know where to look, and they are basically saying what time of year, and then they would indicate in a erasable form, basically what last year and the last 5 years in cedar, red cedar stain would be marked there on the rocks. And so you'd have kind of a fishing report if you were coming through, or if you didn't recall or whatever. But I mean, if they did that, it just seems so that technology that they had is on par with the technology that hunting and gathering people would have had access to for most of prehistory, pre-city era. So it got me really fascinated and researching exactly where and trying to find papers on it and finding out that they used to actually harvest far more salmon than they would ever be able to use in a season because they would catch so many in those nets. The other thing they do is they net the entire mouth of small rivers. And when I say small, I mean they're still big rivers. They're a football field or 200 or 100 meters across, a few hundred feet across, and they would just net it and catch the salmon coming downstream or in stream or whatever their goal was. Salmon are falling apart and looking pretty rough by the time they go up to spawn oftentimes. But in any case, just that was why I was up all night, and I figured I'd share with you guys the little side tangent. So let's see here. Oh wow! Average fish keeper says somebody caught a 20. Is that 20-inch trout down there in Federal Way? That's big. There were definitely fish that were like 2.5 feet long in that lake, but I mean they're stocked. They're fed like with these automated feeders that are like and like all this corn pellet and stuff would come out, and I mean they were big fish. I think he said the record on that lake is 36 pounds, like on his own property. Like that's how big he's gotten a fish. So kind of crazy. But today what I wanted to do is really just do an episode of question and answer for y'all. I've had a lot of comments going on and a lot of emails and Instagram messages and Facebook messages and carrier pigeons arriving with little scrolls on their feet. Very inventive, folks. Very inventive. But it's just easier to manage here. So let's chat. Let's have a talk. Let's have some coffee talk, or as it were, Coca-Cola talk. I don't drink anything caffeinated or alcohol-wise or anything like that, other than Dr. Pepper has, I think, like 12.5 milligrams of caffeine. It's very low, actually, compared to like Pepsi or Coke or Mountain Dew for that matter. But when I drink a Coca-Cola, I think there's like, I don't know, 30 or 40 milligrams of caffeine in a 12 ounce or whatever the equivalent is. And it definitely, like, I feel it, which is funny because I used to drink like quad, 4 or 5 shots of espresso before I'd go to school, like when I was in college or even high school, or Monster energy drinks or whatever, like it was water. So yeah, I agree that Coke in glass is better than Coke in a can or Coke on your in the palm of your hand or out of a satchel or any device. I think this is the superior methodology to drinking a Coke. I would agree with that. Also, rules for the AQUASCAPE contest. They've been posted in 2 videos, which you can watch. One's a short to the point type thing that's on this channel a few videos back that says AQUASCAPE prizes, giveaways. I think it says rules too. But all the forms are there too. And then also I did a live stream where we went really into detail. So today I don't necessarily, if you have any questions, we can try to head those off at the pass, as it were. But I basically want to go till the half hour after the hour. Boy, that's not a good way to word that. Till 3:30 today, because I know Rico San's having John from KG Tropicals on, and I kind of wanted to catch that because I like Rico's channel, and he's been growing quite a bit, and he does his interviews, and the having John on there from such a large channel should be kind of fun. And I always like seeing when bigger creators are reaching out and like meeting of the minds with smaller channels, subscriber-wise. Sorry, I'm really close. I just had to grab my chapstick. It was rolling. All right, guys, so let's see here. Let me get back to the comments and get you guys as my priority. Alex, I need ideas to stock a 30 long, or is that leader? But either way, no shrimp, maybe cichlids. Would love a pair. Maybe cichlids. Would love a pair. What do you think? Well, if you wanted to just do cichlids, I mean, boy, you could do a lot of different things. But in a 30 long, I've seen what's really cool is Shelley's actually, because those 30 longs aren't that tall, they're not that wide, so they do have a lot of space though, territorial wise, like zonage wise, so you can have a lot of pairs of different Shelley's. And speaking of that, I think Aquatic Arts had like 7 or 8 types of Shelley's over the last month or so, and some of them are, they're really cute, some of them, and there's a few that are colorful, and the Shelley's had not been that prevalent. Like Wet Spot, you could get them sometimes, or Aquabid, but they hadn't been that prevalent in the hobby recently, other than maybe like 3 or 4 kinds, like Similis and I don't know, maybe, yeah, probably like three species that I saw frequently. But now I'm starting to see more and more, and I know that Aquatic Arts has got them 2 breeders in the Midwest, so it could be that they're also breeding for other people other than just Aquatic Arts too, even. But that would be fun. Another cool one, I mean, you could do like Turkana jewel cichlids. They're super mean, but they're so beautiful. They're easy to spawn, and I mean, they're blood red and or ruby red, I guess, not as deep as blood red, and they're just really pretty. So I mean, that's an option, and that would get to a decent size, but you'd still have room for it. So there's some cool ones, and you could even probably do a pair if it's a 30 long and not a 30 liter. You could probably do some Geophagus or something like the smallest ones, just a pair of them, something interesting like that, or one of the, if it's just for the time being too, you could also start off one of the bigger fish, Oscars or whatnot. You could start in there, but that's all up to you. The easiest answer for all of that would be Apistos, redfish.bluefish.shop. I right now still has a whole bunch of really cool Apistos. So, I mean, I think the McMaster eyes that he's got are pretty rad. So, that would be one thing. Let's see here. 3H3H3. He. Show us the breeding tubs. Okay, I can do that. Zen Ginger, how's it going, my dear? Great to see you, as always. Heidi, hello. So glad you're here. Daniel Keeping Fish, hello. George Biss, hello. Rico Stan, hit that like button. Rico Stan, the man of the hour that I was just talking about, trying to end this stream in time for, so we don't cut him off, so I can go watch his stream. Let's see here. Over half of you are slackers. You need to hit the like button. Yeah, or you don't like me, which in case, hit the dislike button. Jeez, come on. So let's see here. I'm getting verklempt here. Okay. All right. I see. Yeah, this is what happens. I get out of sync with the chat, and then no. Okay. Thomas V says 41 milligrams in a Dr. Pepper. Is that in a 12-ounce can or in a 20-ounce bottle or 16-ounce, or what's the deal? What's going on here? I want to know, because yes. Okay. Four Loco and Cheerios. Wow, that's a breakfast of champions right there. If you're a champion underachiever who's wanting to die of renal failure, then yes. Daniel Kingfish, is good to see you also. Oh, good. Thanks. Yeah, we're everything, our schools locally, I think pretty much are locked down still if they're not out for the summer. Our schools should be out for the summer by right around now. There's a school right up the street, and there were kids there for the only day this year, and it was their last day, and it was to pick up, I don't know, thanks for participating plaques. I don't know what they were doing, honestly. But I had to slow down, and it made me mad because I'm so used to no school zones. So yeah, let's see here. La 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 la. What else is going on? Pasternak. Hello, good to see you. I feel like I don't recognize you. Any pelvicochromis would be good for a 30. Yeah, totally. Alison, totally agree with that. How are the skipperoos doing? Skipperoos. What are we talking about here? Why am I? Oh, the shrimps, like shrimperoos, or am I? Are you guys talking to some to and about something else? Let's see here. Zen Ginger. Oh my gosh, I have 33 liters or longs. Probably 33 longs, right? All my guppy strains in the Texas freeze. Oh no, I didn't know what to put in there now. Shellies. Oh yeah, Shellies with like cool color shells, like old nearite shells if you can find them, or even just saltwater shells. It looks great, and then you can let it algae the hell over. Like just forget about it. Like add some sand, and they'll make all sorts of little like mounds, and it looks like a mini like bike racing track, like a motocross track by the time they're done with it. So it's pretty cool. Roger Salmon, hello. 30 liters. Okay, got it. And Monica Dog, what's up? Thank you for the thumbs up. Oh, what's up, George? Good to see you, my brother. Did my episto? Wait. Did you see the epistos bred for me from Redfish Bluefish? No, I didn't. I'll need to see your channel. So there's a couple things I should announce right now that we got folks coming in here. I guess, hold on one sec. Let me take my allergy pill too, because I'm having, you guys can probably see it. I get with my lupus, instead of just getting like a mosquito bite or a little allergy like hive, I get these welts that they bust open and they swell like a freaking bee stung me or something. This one up here is like nuts. But in any case, I need to take some Benadryl, and I already took all the other things I'm supposed to take. But such is the life, right, guys? But I have a few things that I wanted to clear up. I'm going to just make sure that there's... Hold on. Let me just skip to the bottom of the comments because I feel bad when I don't. Sean, welcome. I feel like I don't recognize... I feel like I don't recognize that screen name, but welcome. Do I pour the milk or the cereal first? Obviously, I pour the cereal first. You put the cereal in, you put your hand down, and then you pour the milk in it. And then that will maximize how much of both you can put in there, because then the cereal doesn't float up and whatever, and you've submerged the cereal. I feel like if you do it any other way, you're wrong. And, I'm usually live and let live with fish keeping stuff. Not with cereal. You got to do it that way or you're wrong. Let's see here. You know what would be cool in one of those, if it's a 33 long, would be half beaks too. They need a lot of surface area, or like what do you call them? This isn't helping you guys. Killifish and the annulus killifish as the clown. That's what I needed to say. The clown and rocket. Rocket's such a better name. Why are they called clown killifish? I hate that name has gotten more popular. It used to be rocket killifish. And yeah, so I think those are rad. And if you had a long skinny tank, or I used to have those breeding in my bookshelf tank. And I thought that was a pretty good use of space. And they're cute. And they stay at the very top. So you could do whatever you want at the bottom. You could do some Corydora habrosis or histatus or pygmaea. You could also do coolie loaches or something like that. That would be really fun. And then obviously with a killifish tank, you'd want to plant the heck out of it. With floating stuff or plants that are reaching the top and growing, starting to go immersed, which I'm going to show you guys my AQUASCAPE which if I do say so myself, it's looking better than it has looked in a long time. But let's get to, now that I made it to the bottom of chat, and also, by the way, Derek Smith, thank you so much for joining as a secret supporter. So much appreciated. It really helps because that is part of what I'm going to announce. And also, I saw that Rob's is in here, and that I was on the Aquarium Guys podcast last night. I always have a fun time. That's like the late night show of the of the fish tube, fish casting world kind of thing. You know, there aren't a whole lot of outlets that are late night show kind of level of antics. And sometimes it's nice to unwind without worrying so much about sensibilities and so forth, in a sense of just sarcastically joking and stuff. Obviously, we don't want any serious subjects that are like, you know, oh, that's why you're going to get demonetized. But as far as being able to joke and be sarcastic, I'm a pretty sarcastic person, so... yeah, and I think most people know how I actually keep fish and how much I actually care about critters. So when I joke about like feeding guppies, you know, as like snacks for, you know, other fish and stuff, like we all have contemplated, you know, such is life. But that's a shout out also for the Aquarium Guys podcast. Check it out. And you know what? This is about part of the announcement. So last night we were talking and I had called into the show and I was literally like, we weren't seeing each other visually. That whole show was just audio. And so I, just because of his new setup and, he's going to have a different system soon, he said, but, he knows way more than I do about tech stuff. And the last week or so, I've been saying, you know what, guys, like, I should probably get a better setup for streaming. I know my internet has some issues here and kind of throttles down the bandwidth. Sometimes the live stream gets, you know, glitchy or patchy, and I like it when you guys let me know. But that's when you're streaming from a cell phone. When I plug in a landline, it almost always from the laptop stays like tolerable, like at 1080 or so, you know. But I have it set on the phone to be in full high def, like 4K. It just does not, that's not what it decides to output as. But the really cool thing, and I have to thank Maverick, who was a follower of, I've seen him here too, but I mean, he's a follower of the Aquarium Guys podcast show. We were all chatting in the live chat about how I need to get a studio mic. And I was saying how right now the channel is in this kind of odd transition phase where I'm making more money, obviously, than I ever have before on the channel, just doing bumper ads. So just the banner ads and the ads in between videos. I still don't really like running ads in videos, and except for some old ones, I'm trying not to do that. Sometimes if I upload on the computer or like my wife's computer or something, if I'm using a phone that's not the normal setup, all pre-set up, it'll default and it'll put ads in and things like that, and I usually try to go undo that anyways, but don't like come at me, brah, if I'm wrong and there's like 1 or 2 videos with some ads or whatever, 20 videos with some ads in them somewhere. But I just don't like the interruption of them, and so I want to try to keep it that way. The only thing is that I don't like is that YouTube does actually kind of penalize you for not running more ads on your channel. They push content that gets more ads played for them, obviously. So, but you guys make up for it by joining channel memberships, by doing super chats, and I appreciate that so much. What's up, Danikin? So good to see you, Kenny. But what I was going to say is that I'm at this point where money is... before this was a hobby, obviously. It was like a vlog. I was using my phone and not editing ever whatsoever, not going out of my way to do anything, just like for the first year or two so much. But now I'm really trying to treat it like a job and treat it like you're going to spend 40 to 60 hours a week, whether that's answering people's questions and comments and emails, whether that is researching possible other topics, whether that's actually being in the fish room and keeping up with my fish, or documenting a new subject, or going somewhere, or talking to someone, or promoting the channel, or going on other people's shows. And I've been so honored to be a guest on so many shows in the last few months. It's been a whirlwind. But going on shows, being on certain channels and things, it has some interesting drawbacks, or I mean upsides and drawbacks, but you get interesting new folks who don't know you that well or know your content that well, obviously, which is great. But also, you get a new mythology. Like reading the comments, some people, the things they attribute to my doing or my not doing or my ability to do, someone will speak to, oh, I think he's a saltwater guy. You know, like, no, I don't know anything about saltwater. Sorry. So it's kind of interesting. But what I was going to get to, my long and Alex, what are you talking about? Get to the point. To thank Maverick is that we were talking about how my streams are hit and miss because of that internet, because of the fact that I have microphones, but I have lapel mics that I use frequently, or the headphone mic if I'm on someone else's live stream or interviewing someone. Well, the mic that comes with the camera or cell phone that I use on a gimbal, like right now, it's not so hot. It's not good. It's just not a compressor mic. And so it's decided that I need to get a compressor mic, and I needed to reinvest money in the channel. And Maverick, very kindly, as we were joking, everyone needs to throw in a nickel and I can get a $300 mic. Well, we had somebody, Maverick, who basically right there on Aquarium Guys podcast PayPal'd me the money. So like, he PayPal'd me like $300 towards it, and I was just jaw on the floor. So that's an upgrade coming to the channel, and hopefully for most live streams, I'll be able to figure out how to work that, for one, because I also need to get some sort of sound port thing to switch things up. I need to teach myself some stuff, okay? But the long story short is things are getting better, and you guys rock, and specifically the kindness of one person is pushing me to do this in the way that's like, all right, I just got to take that leap, I just got to go. Rather than in the past I've said, well, it's okay, it's good enough, it's vlogs, Jake Paul and all these viral videos and stuff can do, millions of views off their cell phone, and I don't need to worry about it. But you guys deserve, my effort in that department as well, not just in the research and in the experience and trial and error with my tanks department. So thank you so much for that. And then the other thing is I want to get an underwater camera, and I want to get a 4K camera, and I'm even thinking about, because I've been talking with Sean Pecktech about getting a 360 camera. He used one recently. And not necessarily that I want to film much in 3D, like I want you guys to be able to spin around with your phone and throw up and see all the different angles. But for editing, you can literally set up one camera right here, have two people sitting across from each other, and it will film both sides of the conversation in real time, synced together. So if you want to do an interview where it's question and answer, you can show their face, hear your audio back and forth, whatever, and cut back and forth. Or also just go, for instance, to the aquatic experience and show when you're walking and talking and looking around, and then show what you're seeing, which just later you have the option to edit. So that was kind of cool. I'm thinking about getting that little 3D modular, it's kind of like a GoPro setup camera. And Sean was telling me all about it. So we'll see. And it's waterproof anyways, I want to say, or at least it comes with a waterproof module. But the thing is, I would love to put some more little cameras. One, I want to do the live stream thing where the background is actually my tanks on a green screen. That's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and nobody has helped me out with that, or I just haven't probably reached out to the right people. But yeah, that's something that I like that Bob Steenfott does, and I've seen a lot of other people do it. I've had a lot of people say, um, Alex, can I use footage that you've posted on your aquariums on my feed for B-roll or whatever? And the answer is yeah, always yes. If as long as that's not like the main subject or whatever, and they're making a ton of money. But if it's for that, that's perfectly fine. Oh, Cassie B, what's going on, Cassie B? Good to see you. Glad to see you. For sure. I feel like it's been far too long. Randy Roman, what's up? But so in any case, yeah, I wanted to thank the supporter. He's a college student too, which made it even all the more flattering and generous that he wanted to be charitable in such a way. But what I was gonna say about the channel, and then I have something I want to say. I recently wrote Corey from Aquarium Co-op, and I recently saw him. I had a comment in a live stream recently that I wanted to kind of just address. No biggie, really, but I wanted to clear the air on a couple things while we're here and in between questions, since I'm not seeing a ton of the questions right now. But the first part, I guess the first part of all that is well, you know what? We'll just skip to that. We'll just skip to that. Okay. So basically, I have been asked about a billion times whether Corey and I were in high school together, and like whether I bullied Corey or whether he bullied me, or some combination of that folklore, because we grew up in the same area, same town. No, we didn't know each other like that at all. I mean, did we see each other around? Maybe. Did we attend the same places? Almost certainly. Did I know him later through GSAS and our fish club? Yeah. But we weren't. His class, I believe, is 3 years older than my class, anyways. Like, I think he's 2 years age-wise older, and 3 years classes older. But on his live stream, he mentioned, one, the quality of my channel, which I thought was funny because I am ready to upgrade. He's right. When he talked to me 4 years ago, that's what he was like. I'm not gonna ever work with you until you get, HD and a decent mic and all that stuff. And not that I'm doing this to work with Corey. It's actually completely random that somebody tapped me on the shoulder and was like, go look at the live stream where he talks about you. But another thing he said was that he didn't like that I threw him under the bus. And so I wanted to talk about that real quick. And I'm not trying to air any dirty laundry or anything like that. I'm trying to put an olive branch out for people who are in both of our groups. I have people clearly who watch Joey, King of DIY. And we all know what happened recently with that, if you pay attention to my channel at all. I have people who love Rachel O'Leary. And Rachel and Corey said in the same stream, Rachel hates him. I don't know if that's true, but that's his opinion, or that's his take on the situation. And I can say though that I learn a lot from both those people, and I would hope that everybody separates to some degree, at least. If you're idolizing them and throwing money at them every month, then maybe you do want to know that they're a decent person. But if you're just there to learn, learn from them. Take what you can from their content, or if you're there to be entertained, get that from them. And this hobby, we need to be positive and we need to build each other up. And there's not a right or wrong way to do everything. There's a very select few things that I feel like the information needs to be correct, the nitrogen cycle and things like that. But what you choose to do with that information, that is what makes it a hobby. That's what makes it a spectrum, a wide open playing field. So there's that. The other thing that I wanted to say about, I wrote Corey too, actually this morning, was that, Corey is a businessman. He has taken any fish widget you can think of making and thought, can we make this better? Can we make it cheaper, but like more sturdy? Can we innovate it or change this thing that I hate about it so that it works better or that everyone complains about? And he literally flies across the world and gets it done. He's all about branding. His channel is there to support his brand. He is an entrepreneur and a businessman, and I think you can learn a lot. Like, I watch his business channel out of curiosity. That being said, I don't have anything I'm selling you guys other than, I guess, information and my stupid mug. And once in a while, I guess, shirts. But right now, all the proceeds from shirts for a long time have been going to Project Piaba and various charities. But I don't have a brand that, I don't have merch that has my brand anywhere on it. I don't have a logo up all over the place. Yet I make logos for a living. So it's somewhat intentional. I have this slight aversion to the commodification and the like marketing of everything. But at the same time, I totally get that. And like, for instance, what he did with the sponge filters, I love that. I mean, his shop is 10 minutes from my house. I'm gonna go to Corey's shop. That's just how it is. I like Aquarium Zen, which is right down the road. They're totally different shops. I like King of DIY. Whoa, why did that come out? I like Redfish Bluefish shop, but that's way out of the way up in Woodby Island. But I really like what he's doing, bringing in European fish, and that's where I'm going to get my Apistos. Any show fish that I want to show off, like rare, Freudian slip. No, because, I love, Jason. But this is the other thing I wanted to say too, is that I want to be able to be myself on my channel. And I've had people unsubscribe. I've had people send me a bunch of crazy stuff. And the bigger this channel gets, it seems like the harder it is to stay true unless you make an effort to stay true to who you are or were. And that evolves a little bit, because who I am is somebody who wants to answer literally every comment on my videos if I can. And I try. If you go through my videos, especially the last year or so, I've really tried to get to every answer. If it turns into a thread that's like 5 things long, YouTube doesn't always alert me that somebody a week later came back with a response. But if it's, a recent video or an ongoing thread that's been an exchange back and forth, you guys probably know how the alerts work. I mean, you see what you see. And I go out of my way to try to figure that out. And so let's see here. Central Tubbing says, I feel like there have been a lot of very meta comments on and in fish tube videos recently. Very well said. Yeah, so I guess the bottom line is too, like, Father Fish, he made an incredibly flattering video for me, where he made like the 6 fish tube channels that he recommends people watch. And he listed me on his list. And I mean, that was really moving and touching. Like, on a personal level, I felt like honored and like, not me, like, but I also am working hard to get answers for you guys, for all of you guys and gals. And I mean that for the ladies too, because I really am working on, I want more women in the hobby, and I want them to feel like they have a voice, they have a place here too. It's not all just guys or bros and all that. And so, for everybody, I don't want the guys to feel left out either, or whatever, but for people of all ages. And I find it interesting that my demographic, I have almost no one under 20 watching my channel, which is odd. But in any case, my my final statement on the YouTube stuff is like Father Fish and I don't get along with our social issues hardly at all. You know, he's the biggest Trumper ever. I'm not like a big Biden fan or whatever, or Obama fan or anything, but I would definitely say I lean to the left, kind of out of the mainstream media though. But basically, like, we can get along about nothing in certain ways, yet we can still totally interact civilly and learn from one another. Is Father Fish who I'm going to go to about CO2 plants? Never. Is he who I would go to about like deep substrate stuff and sand being in the tank and hard water and you know, the fish business and how the hobby's been through Florida and historic stuff? Yeah, I would go to him for those things, for setting up a tank, for balancing a tank, for old tank syndrome, things like these, totally. But then, you know, I'm going to go to Rachel O'Leary for nano fish if there's nothing on a species. And my whole point is that I really just, I don't want the fans of this channel ever to be commenting, well, Alex says this, and as much as that's flattering, I've seen a few comments that are like, well, Alex disagrees or Alex does it this way. You don't need to like vouch for what I do or anything like that. You guys do you. If that's your opinion because you've been informed by me and you've looked into it and you think that's accurate, then great. But I just wanted to say, like, I wanted to kind of clear the room again, and with the exception of all but maybe one or two creators, I am open to the future of learning from them, seeing what they have to teach. There's nobody that I'm going to say don't watch. Okay, Catch 'em All Fishing, that's one that honestly you're not going to learn anything about fish from. That is just animal cruelty and a fishing channel, in my opinion. But he's got 8 million viewers, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. YouTube clearly doesn't think that it's mean to put goldfish in beer bongs and stuff like that, but whatever. All right, so that's all. Oh, can we see some fish, please? Yeah, let's do that. I was going to say, so let's see here. Yes, Rebecca, good point. Sounds like you're trying to depolarize things and encourage us to find value in each individual fish keeper out there that's putting out content. Thanks for setting the tone of respect. That's the bottom line. Let's just have basic decency and respect for one another, but also take a little pearl of wisdom from everybody you meet, and maybe some people, you don't take any wisdom. You just say, wow, that looks cool that they have a really expensive setup or an AQUASCAPE, but I'm never going to make something like that. So cool. Now moving on. It's just like, I look at, whatever, yacht mansions on TV and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool architecture. Would I ever be able to afford anything like that? No. So why am I watching it? You know what I mean? In any case, so here's a tank that obviously you guys recognize. This thing took a beating. You've seen this tank evolve this calendar year. We went from creating the tank to having it a true Iwagumi, totally low and carpeted, doing like its real Iwagumi thing with very sparse plants, to now it is an Iwagumi jungle tank with some really cool oddball fish in it, and plants that are kind of my hard to keep plants, because right now this tank, I have to say that I built longevity, and you can go back and watch the video on, it's called Deep Substrate Iwagumi, I think is what I titled the video. And by the way, look at these beautiful little gobies from Aquatic Arts. These are the Annie or Annie's goby. Man, I wish it would focus. There's blue specks all over them, and then they're orange and yellow. And they've got this paddle tail, and she's actually got a little pouch to her. And then the males have this big spike on the front fin, like all But another cool thing, and I already mentioned this in another live stream and thanked the viewer who brought them by, but check this out. Clear or translucent guppies. Look at this female. You can actually see her eggs in her belly. I think they may be fertilized now. Let's see. Can we get her to come by again? And the male here has like kind of a odd translucent color, but this is like a research line. Originally, I think this is for like, for universities and things to study these fish. You can literally, I'll put up some still shots in the community tab, but you can make out each little section of the eggs in her belly in that yellow blob right there, which is so cool. I mean, with a live bear too, because there's little life forms in there. So I don't know. I've been happy with that. Oh, here, it's sitting still. And again, live streams, yeah, we know the camera quality and the video, the color, everything kind of sucks a little bit. But yeah, they're really cool. I got these. These were the ones from Aquatic Arts. They might be on sale right now too. I can't remember. I'll have to double check that. But they've got a list of stuff. And see, right now they're all cleaning the biofilm. The other thing I noticed them doing, the first animal I've ever seen do it, which is rad, was they're eating the nerite snail eggs. Like they were chewing on it. I don't know if they just wanted calcium or whatever, but I was really excited about that. And yeah, so I've had fun with that. But really, really fun little fish. You can see them all lurking down in there. And then we've got the Nanochromis transvestitis. Here's the male. Not much to look at. He's got gold on his gills, which is kind of nifty. But other than that, I mean, what have you done for me lately, fish? And then I guess I'd show off. I got it from Jason up at Redfish Bluefish yet again. I mean, these guys, longfin neon tetras were from him. But Limnophilia hippodroids, right here, I've grown out in CO2, and you can see kind of what it's going to look like. It has this kind of, thistly look with purple stems that come out, and then it starts to twist and actually kind of flips inside out in that the purple of the leaves starts turning upward. And in Limnophilia, like right here, Limnophilia mini, it doesn't do that. The other cool plant that I've been playing with that I think immersed is going to look epic is the Tonina. And that's right here, this one. So that's a fun one. But what I'm playing with is called an Archeon or Archaea light or Archeon light. I can't remember which model it is. Anyways, it's by Archaea. But you can see it's just bluish, white, off-white LED diodes. And some are burnt out, which is fine. But they're very, it's cool light. It's kind of a blue light, so it's not going to encourage flowering or that like... Oh, and by the way, here's another piece of that hippodroids. When Jason gave me this a couple weeks ago, it was this big. Like where my fingers are here, that's how big it was. Just the tip of this plant. And they've just gone gangbusters in this tank with the CO2. And what I've been doing with the CO2 is I put it in the tank in the morning when lights, at around 5 a.m. when the light comes in the room. And then around 2 o'clock, I've been putting the CO2 into this tank. Now this tank is a little bit bigger. I think I need to set up a better diffuser. But right here, if you're aquascaping, is where all the magic is happening. You see these little bubbles popping at the surface? That's where the gas is seeping into the water. It's not happening right here. It's not diffusing off like that. It's happening when it hits the top and when they pop and explode and leave little teeny splash marks all over your glass. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is I do have an episode, and I've reached out to Several researchers down at UC Davis and UC Riverside. Oh, cool! My red-tailed goby, this ginormous goby. I mean, big. He's almost like an eel or I don't know, a tadpole or something. Uh, like a bullfrog tadpole. I'm trying to show my hand in comparison to this guy. I mean, he's the biggest fish in here right now, I think, lengthwise. He's if you see here that he's hanging off the leaf a good inch and a half still with his tail, I mean, we'll put our hand in and show that. I mean, he's longer than my hand is wide across, and just big, chunky, and he definitely will hunt down and eat any of my little shrimp that are in here, which the Malawi shrimp they've stayed alive. They've done well. All these cuttings in the front are from that tank. And you can't see the colors because of the live stream quality. So hopefully when I buy a new camera, you'll actually see you can kind of see the color range here a little better when there's not any glare or reflective light interfering. And also I love the pinwheeling effect of Ludwigia lacustris, and plants like that. They just look so cool from the top down. But in any case, when you look at it like this, it's underwhelming when really I see reds and pinks and purples and burgundies. And this is a new plant that I found in a ditch growing in the water. And I don't know if it's a true aquatic, but it sure looks like a hydrocotyl. Looks like a little four-leaf clover. And it perked right up when I put it underwater, and it also has put out these little sprouts. So if anybody knows for sure what this plant is, I have a pennywort that's in my mind, kind of. It's similar to a Japanese pennywort that it looks like it is in the books that I found, but I'm not for certain. And what I'm doing right now with this tank is I have this light here that's the cheaper Archaeolite. These things would sell used for, I don't know, 20 bucks. New, like maybe 40 bucks or 35, 39 bucks. What I'm doing, though, I'm putting it in the front over the carpet because the carpet had grown so here of the Glossostigma elenotanthoids that that's fine. But then these were growing so short and stout because this Fluval 3.0 at full blast, not at custom settings, at full blast is just adding color to everything. What I did is I took the nitrates completely out of this tank. I'm doing lots of water changes and making sure the nitrates are gone. I'm not adding any iron or anything, but I'm adding a lot of the ADA chemicals here. Every day, I'm doing 2 squirts of each bottle into here. This bottle cracked, unfortunately. But yeah, it cracked right in the bottom. Odd. Like at the seam. So I have to set it on its side for now. But yeah, so that's the regiment is just so 4 squirts total between Brighty K and Brighty Mineral. And this is like your minerals, your metals, whereas Brighty K is potassium and also some macro, a little bit, I think it's a little bit of phosphorus and a little bit of I don't know. It has the ingredients, you can find more online. So, but the whole point is that like Aquaria Easy Green, for instance, great product if you have a tank that's not overstocked, that has a medium amount of plants, medium light to low light, or even high light for that matter, I guess. But that you need to feed those plants, and same with root tabs of any sort. But I like to have the control. Brightwell does it, ADA does it, and Nylock G does it too. Colin Griss, the owner, will custom make these big batches. And I'm thinking of having him make me a custom batch, honestly, because I think he said he needs a 10-gallon batch to make it worth his while. And I don't know if that's a public offer or if that's just because we've known each other online chatting a bit. But so I don't want to like say that and then tell everybody go out and bug him and ask him for it. But regardless, I'm hoping that maybe I can get that custom made the way I like my ferts, which are different than the way other people like theirs, because I like this whole idea of loading up my tank with a million fish. I mean, these bloodfin tetras that I got for the clear body, and then the ember tetras with the translucent bodies too. There are like 35 ember tetras in here right now, and there are 14 or maybe 12. Actually, there's 12 of the bloodfin tetras in here right now. And I just love how they are using the space, since there was so much open space up high right now, and I really kind of cleaned out the big rocks that had been in here from the old aquascape when we moved. Just watching them school and watching them move for food and get nervous. These gouramis don't ever hurt them, but they do make the movement very interesting. And with 3 powder blue fat gouramis, these 3 females are way more peaceful than the males would ever be. They kind of just interrupt the school every so often. And for some reason, these fish are just totally fascinated and intrigued by the CO2 going on. I see Super Chat appear that a super chat appeared, but I'm not find. Oh, here we go. Cassie B for the camera fund. Well, thank you so much, Cassie B. I appreciate that greatly. And then I saw another. Oh, right there. Aristotle for no reason. All right, I appreciate that also. I can get down with the no reason. Let me check the time real quick because I don't want to run over Rico Stan's time. There's a chance I could even return live streaming and actually do more Q&A stuff a little later. Oh yeah, so it's later than 3:30, and so Rico has started streaming, and I think Rico's been kind enough to have me on his channel. I'd like to have him back on my channel, and I have a plumber coming later, but depending on how long that takes, I will stream again. I will rise again. The North will rise again, if possible tonight. But oh, thank you so much also, Mary Page, for linking the deep substrate Iwagumi. Mary was like my muse, my my cheer section, my feedback person for that whole tank, really. And that was, I mean, Father Fish really inspired that. Dr. Novak, who I know I've said I think is a little bit braggadocio about things, but very, very intelligent. He's had a lot of influence on that. And so has Diane Wallstad, and so have other people. So, I mean, I'm very, very open to getting information. I analyze information and opinions / how I feel about people and channels and production and techniques and all that stuff. I keep it separate from how I feel about the objective truth of a subject. Here, Fishy says, Alex, do CPDs lays in spawning mops that are floating or sunken? Usually sunken is what I've found. They scatter along the bottom, usually. The female gouramis are fat and they're full of eggs. Both things are true. But yeah, so definitely, what was the last thing I was going to say? Yeah, could we get a link to Rico Stan's channel? And if you are coming over with me to watch, because I think John from KG Tropicals, like I said, was going to be talking. And I have to say, John was very nice and respectful to me, reached out to me with everything that went on with some of the drama that happened with my channel earlier. I guess it's last month now. It's been a month now. I've made it through the month. So, of the community, the fact that, like, everyone gets along and there's all these little, like, behind the scenes dramas, and sometimes there's dramas that aren't real going on in public that they're just not real. People make them up, or bored people online, or confused or uninformed, ill-informed people. They want excitement. They want a home team to root for, and in the fish hobby, we don't need a home team to root for unless you're rooting for everybody. Like, don't root for me unless you're rooting for everybody. Not everybody, but, for a large section of everyone in the hobby, because everybody will teach you something. Even if you watch them do something wrong, it's a good thing. You can learn and then watch something wrong and be like, wow, I know why that's wrong. Um, and I'm not going to do that. So you can learn even if it's in that sense. But I wouldn't waste my time that way usually. But yeah, so Rico Stan, uh, let's give him yeah, a peace sign. I like that actually. If you guys have emojis, give him the peace sign, and let's roll over to Rico Stan's channel if you want to join me. If no pressure, but he does and gets to know creators on just a one-on-one. Like, let's talk about life, and it can go anywhere. And he's just Rick is a really nice guy, Rico. There's no new drama, by the way, Steven. Nothing major. Just people. I commented earlier in the stream, and this is the last I'm going to say about it on the stream, and then I'm going to sign off because I'm already going long because I can't shut up. People were like thinking that Corey and I were either I was bullied by Corey in high school, or he was bullied by me in high school, or some combination of that. We grew up in the same town. We live in the same area still, and I live 5 minutes from his store and we're in the same fish club and all these sort of things. But at no point was high school bullying or anything. I wasn't even at high school that much. I was learning about plants and horticulture, I guess. I did college early and kind of stopped going. But let's give either the cool sunglasses smiley face or the rock on or the peace sign, and just say hi from Alex, or do those emojis, or the peace sign emoji. And let's hop over to Rico's channel. I'll try to come on live again. If when I get here, the plumber, they're going to turn my water back on. That will be fun. Because right now we may have a leak under the house. Not a bad one or anything. It's just from the toilet. But I don't want to deal with it until my uncle and his plumber friend get here and give me the clear. So I am out. Thank you so much for watching. And I know I didn't cover a lot of territory today, I feel like. So yeah, in any case, I'll try to rectify that later. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments and find the links in the doobly-doo. And I really do try to get to them all. So let's go watch Rico Stan. If you want to join me, I'll be over there with the peace signs and the love. The peace and love, like Ringo. So emphatically. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Bye.